Hello, and welcome to CASE, the best new way to evaluate your patients comprehensively. This video will highlight the features of using this app so you can quickly learn how you can implement it during your evaluations. The first thing you will see is the registration page. Each new therapist will need to complete this form. The registration remains within the app only, and the information is not transmitted to outside vendors or servers. The only required fields are your first and last name. There are additional boxes to add your license or regulatory body, and another for organization name or acronym. To the right, you can also add the associated ID numbers. These numbers will be added under your signature before finalizing the report. Finally, you will notice a 4-digit security PIN code is required. This code is tied to the therapist's name and also provides security for patient information. When you open the app, it will always ask you for your security code. You can create a security question in case you forget your passcode. When you are certain this information is correct, you can press Submit. This information cannot be changed once entered. However, you can add a new therapist and settings if you do make a mistake, or if you wish to add a therapist as an additional user. After you press OK, you will enter the patient management screen. Let's add a sample patient by pressing the button Add a New Patient. Enter the patient's first and last name, date of birth, and gender. Age will automatically be calculated and shown in the narrative portion of the report. This is where you will enter your patient's history. Each blue underlined item indicates a required field. Some fields require you to type information specific to the patient, while others are more general and consist of check and scroll boxes. You must also fill out the patient's medication section. You will notice the sections change color when complete. If you choose not to complete this section, press Skip this step. If you want to complete this section, all fields will need to be completed before proceeding. At this time, you will need to complete the entire patient history section to be able to save the language sample. The language sample section has been updated to include a record feature. Press the microphone to begin recording. Tap it again to stop. You can replay the recording by pressing the green play button that will appear after the recording has been stopped. When you are finished recording, press Save. You will be able to save this to your computer at the conclusion of the evaluation by emailing the report or sending it to Dropbox. This option is available at the conclusion of the evaluation in the Report section. History will not need to be re-entered if you re-evaluate the patient. Touch the button next to the test name to select all subtests. To create a more custom test, touch the plus sign to the right of each test's name. This will reveal a menu of all the subtests available for that test section. You can select or deselect whichever subtests you like to create a custom evaluation. When you are ready to begin, press the blue Create Evaluation button in the top left corner. You will notice several features in the evaluation section. Starting on the top left corner, an orange progress bar indicates how far along in the subtest you are. Next to the progress bar is a timer. Press Start to begin the timer. You can stop it or press Reset to return the timer to 0. When you give a patient a cue, turn on the Cue Toggle button. The app will calculate what percentage of questions required a cue. At the bottom, calculate if the patient answered a question correctly by pressing Yes or No. Press Skip Question to exclude it from the test results. On the top green bar, it will indicate what test and subtest you are currently on. Beside that, on the right, you will see 4 icons. The first pencil icon is a drawing tool. This can be used to provide a cue to the patient or for the patient to use to help figure out a question. You could erase the image by using the eraser icon. To pause the test and return to it later, press the pause icon. This will bring you back to patient management. To resume, click Resume Evaluation next to the patient's name. The square box with a pencil is the notepad feature. You could type notes about the patient as you move along with the test. We suggest you indicate if a specific cue is more helpful than others to later help you develop your goals. These notes will appear on the final report for you to review later. The last icon is the question mark. By tapping this button, you can pull up the Help overlay if you forget any of these features or their functions. Some tests and questions require the patient to draw or write their answers. For example, in this screen, you must write the word that labels the item in the picture. You could draw on the empty box by using your finger or stylus pen. If the patient would like to try again or makes a stray mark, pressing the X in the top right corner of the box will erase the entire image. All patient writings and drawing samples will be included at the bottom of the final report, so you can have a copy of their writing sample at baseline. Some questions require the patient to indicate the correct picture by touching. The image will become highlighted when touched. However, the question will not indicate if the answer was correct or incorrect. Other questions require the patient to listen to an audio file. The green play button on the question screen will automatically begin to play when touched. Remember to indicate if the patient answered the question correctly by pressing yes or no on the bottom. This question type is for questions that are multiple choice or require the patient to recall a list of items. The correct answers are listed in a blue box. When the patient correctly states the answer, touch the box. It will change colors to indicate if it was answered correctly. This feature helps the therapist to keep track of what the patient answered correctly. When the patient has completed the questions, the therapist will clearly be able to see if the patient has met the criterion for answering correctly. If the patient met the criterion, choose Yes on the bottom to indicate if they met the criterion. The criterion, if any for that question is required, will appear as a note for the therapist as seen here. Here you will see the overall accuracy in each area tested. The therapist can type general comments and recommendations including frequency of therapy, any teachings, or long-term goal targets. You can also include any referrals to other medical professionals here. Lastly, you can sign your name to the report before finalizing. When you are ready to send the report, make sure you are connected to the internet. Press Save to go to the Report section. Press Share Report to print, email, or save it to Dropbox. Use the Email or Dropbox feature to save the MP4 sound file for the language sample to your computer. Press View Reports to see the patient history narrative, recommendations, and results of the test, including a breakdown of the test results. Any notes or written samples will also be included here. The Settings menu allows the therapist to change their passcode, add more uses, or add another therapist. To add more uses, you must be connected to the internet to access the Apple Store. The level choice provides suggestions and examples of different types of cues provided. The test definitions section gives a summary of what type of subtests make up an individual test section. The About Case section provides scoring severity guidelines, provides information about the app, developer biography, bibliography, and credits. By clicking on the website name, it will transfer you to the web browser to go into the website. Please see the complete terms of use on our website. If you press Log Out, the therapist will be locked out of the app. This concludes the tour of Case. If you have any future comments or questions, please provide your information in the Connect section of the company's webpage. You can also like our page on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest developments and future app news.